L'unica chose que vous c'est
Welcome back to Junk and Stuff, and today we are making a teacher perspective video that covers the Similarity report or originality report in Turnitin. Okay, so this was a setting that I didn't show you when we did our basic creation of a Turnitin assignment. For right or for wrong, this has been a black eye of Turnitin from the beginning for decades, or at least a decade. And I still have arguments with my colleagues about whether you can use the Similarity report ethically or morally, and I believe you can. So I'm going to talk about that today. First, we are going to go into a Turnitin assignments location, and I am going to create a Turnitin assignment to show you this setting. So we're going in there and we're going to paper assignment, and it always takes a few seconds for paper assignment to start up. Okay. So we will wait a minute, and there it goes. I'm going to give it a title, Rough Draft Essay 1. I'm going to make it due in a couple of days. And I always set the post date for right after the due date. Okay, this is when we get into optional settings. Now, if you are totally turned off by the idea of the Similarity report, just click No for Generate Similarity Reports for Submissions. You can still use the feedback studio. You can still make audio comments. You can still do all that stuff. Have students submit through Turnitin and get their feedback through Turnitin. But if you want to use it as a tool, you can click yes. I generate reports for student submissions immediately because I allow students to see Similarity reports. I show them what it looks like and how it works, just like I'm going to show you. And I do it so that they can log in, click on that tab, and see how Turnitin is viewing their work and how it is comparing it to other sources. Sometimes they find out that they forgot to put quotation marks around a direct quote, and it helps them out. I'm not using it because I think they are dirty little plagiarists that I am trying to detect. Okay, so there are lots of settings here where you can exclude certain parts of the paper to eliminate false positives, but I'm not going to get into that right now. You can explore or you can experiment with that on your own. I am going to submit papers to no repository. This is the other contentious setting with Turnitin. So one problem is that teachers misunderstand how Similarity reports work. The other problem is that you may not like Turnitin saving student papers to their repository. If you don't care, you can click Standard Paper Repository. The reason Turnitin does this is because they want to protect against students submitting the same paper over different class periods. And if you imagine student organizations having a file cabinet where they have a paper for freshman composition, and they give it to all their new people who submit it in their classes and pull the wool over their instructors' eyes that way. That's how the Standard Paper Repository works. It keeps the work anonymous. Other people can see if it's been submitted to a different institution, but that's all they can see unless they contact the original instructor of record and get information from them. But that's really, really hard to do. and I have detected papers as plagiarized and submitted in multiple classes at my own institution through this tool, and Turnitin would still not give me any more information than to let me know it was submitted at a particular class. So anyways, I do not save them to repositories, and this is the search options. They should all be ticked, and that is that. Okay, so that assignment is created with those settings. One thing I didn't show you as a teacher is what to do if you need to submit someone's paper for them, and I'll do that now. If we go into where the link is and then click View Complete, this is what students are doing. And when they do it, their name will be automatically input. And if you're uploading for someone, you will select their name. There are no students in this class because this is an example. So I'm going to input these fields. I'm going to find my paper. And then I'm going to upload it. Now here's the thing, when students do this, they upload it and they see the wheel turning, and sometimes they don't realize they have to click confirm. So if you get someone who says, I'm sure I submitted it, but they didn't, that could be the reason why. So I am going to go as a teacher into where I go to Turnitin assignments to look at it. And when I come in here, I can see the submission, and I can see a yellow bar next to 28%. It's yellow because Turnitin is flagging it because it's 28%, and it thinks that's a big percentage. I'm going to click through and look at it. You cannot go by Turnitin. You have to click on this layer, the red layer, and then click on the number. And it will show you where it thinks these papers or these quotations are coming from. So this one was submitted to the University of Edinburgh, but it is a quote. This one was submitted to Harvard. Again, that's a quote. It's a quote from O Pioneers. This paper is a literature analysis on O Pioneers, and it even thinks the student's last name in the header is not original or is similar to something else. So you can see that as a teacher, you can't just go by this 28%, which sounds outrageous, like this student has plagiarized the whole paper. Once you go in, you can see that all of it is titles, it's single words like in, or phrases like the roll of, which you would expect to be repeated. It is quotations, and it is bibliographic information. We go back down into the works cited, we can see that a lot of that is included as similar to other things on the interwebs. So as a teacher, you can't go by this. You can't tell students, oh, you need to get this down to 20%. It doesn't mean anything depending on what genre the student is writing in. You need to go in and look at it and see what it's highlighted and how students are working with sources. Now, I show them this and let them use it as a tool because then they can see where they might have forgotten to put quotation marks around something. But this student did not forget because this student is me and I know how to properly work with sources. All right, folks, that concludes my example of for teachers, how to create an assignment and work with those settings, what kinds of ethical or moral issues a lot of people have with Turnitin, and how you can avoid those and how you can use it as a teacher. I hope you found it useful. Thank you.